Zimbabwe universities face a crisis as enrollment declines up to 50% under Mnangagwa government. You remember, family, we've been talking about the issue of universities for a very long time, from the time that the strike of lecturers started, and the government of Uganda failed to address the concerns of the lecturers until they drew down tools. Up to now, lecturers are still not 100% at work. And it has also caused classes to be affected. But unfortunately, still, ZANU-PF and Mnangagwa being politicking all the time, they still went ahead and kept university graduates. This last graduation that happened at the University of Zimbabwe. And they did that while many had not even finished the modules. So you can see the attitude that this government has towards the issue of our education, which makes it a very problematic thing. If a government would have such an attitude towards education, then they are destroying the future of the country. They don't care about the future, what Zimbabwe is going to become. We can never become great if our people are not educated. You see, educated communities are always the least developed everywhere the world over. But for them, as long as they are making themselves rich and stealing and politicking all the time, for them they are fine, they are okay, and that is a big problem that we are facing. So this issue of dropouts in the universities, it cannot come as a surprise because of how education has been belittled in our country. The Mashingo Mirror reports here that Zimbabwe universities have lost their luster, and there are fears of total collapse for some of them, with enrollment dropping by 50%. The situation is so dire that faculties are at the verge of collapsing after registering one student per class and creating financial crisis for the institutions. One university, for example, which had 15,000 students in 2022, only had 8,000 in 2024. Analysts attribute the acute drop to a total mismatch between university programs and the job market, and the redundant degree programs that have zero employment opportunities. This has caused a lure for polytechnic programs, with more students enrolling for basic courses such as hairdressing, bricklaying, etc. The commercialization of education, with fees shooting up US $600, has seen students flooding Zambia and the region where degree programs are cheaper. Postgraduates, particularly civil servants who earn $200, cannot afford the fees. Doctorate programs are different from countries like South Africa, where universities chip in to support students with research funds. Higher Education Permanent Secretary Professor Fano Tagwira acknowledged the problems, which he said the ministry and universities are working on. You see, that's all that they can do. That's all they are good at, just saying we are working on that. Once they do that, they know that they are done with media. They've already, propagandized the whole situation. Then life goes on, and that is the problem that we continue to face as a nation with this government of Mnangagwa. We need new leaders in the country. Things are really going south. The country is really, going down every time, and education is a priority. Education, it's a basic need. It's needed. We can never ever lie to ourselves that we would concentrate on other things. It would be rather better to let the roads continue like that as they are, instead of making noise saying that we are constructing roads and what, and concentrate on education and have our children go to school. Because even if we don't build roads, but we educate our children, and tomorrow they will be the engineers of tomorrow. They can be able to build those roads, and which we may have failed. But unfortunately, we have a government that is a wrong focus altogether, and we are not surprised, because that's the DNA of ZANU-PF, and let alone now that ZANU-PF has been taken over by Uganda. It's now even worse. The situation is now beyond because now we have another group, another species of ZANU-PF animals that are very self-centered, thinking always about themselves, and everyone else does not matter. And with this kind of scenario, we are not going to see Zimbabwe rising at any point in time. So we need to continue watching and praying for the season of change that has to happen to the nation of Zimbabwe. Education is supposed to be taken as a priority, but we don't have such a government with such an appetite. Anyway, this is what it is, family. Thank you once again, of course, for joining me on the show. Just updates, brief ones that we give you on this platform. You are blessed.